The Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case has become one of the most baffling and controversial stories in recent memory. What was supposed to be a process of transparency has instead created more confusion, leaving the American public frustrated and deeply mistrustful of both the Department of Justice and the FBI.
Mr. Chairman, the Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case is baffling, it's frustrating the American people, and it's exacerbating the mistrust in the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In February, Attorney General Bondi, 17 days into the job, said in a Fox News interview that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now to review, end of quote. The White House then staged a major media release of Epstein-related files on February 27th, including preparing binders for conservative influencers and commentators. However, the files released were largely already publicly available. There was nothing new. After intense blowback, Attorney General Bondi went back to Fox News, the mothership, and claimed that a whistleblower, quote, assured her there were more files, and that, quote, New York, Southern District of New York, was sitting on thousands of pages of documents. And she promised on Fox, and I quote, we will get everything, and the country will see, quote, the full Epstein files. These are quotes from Attorney General Bondi voluntarily appearing on Fox News to explain the situation. For the next 4 months, the Department of Justice and the FBI were silent. What happened during that period? Well, we received information that Attorney General Bondi pressured the FBI to assign, now get this, approximately 1,000 agents in its Information Management Division and hundreds of additional agents from the New York field office to work 24-hour shifts to review and produce more documents on Epstein on an arbitrarily short deadline. These officials were told to, quote, flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. But after this flurry of activity using tens of thousands of personnel hours in March, it took DOJ and FBI 3 additional months to produce no new documents, but rather an unsigned memorandum on July 7th finding that, quote, this systemic review revealed no incriminating client list. Naturally, after all of the public promises Attorney General Bondi has made, the public is really suspicious of her finding. This suspicion has been exacerbated by public reporting that FBI Director Patel and FBI Deputy Director Bongino disagree with Attorney General Bondi's handling of this matter. Public mistrust has been fed by other claims in the July 7th memorandum. This memorandum included links to surveillance video footage from outside Epstein's cell in the hours leading up to his death. The July 7th memorandum describes one of the videos released as full, raw footage, yet experts who've analyzed it concluded the video was likely modified. The Trump administration has essentially created a new controversy rather than solving one. President Trump is not helping matters at all. Despite his administration continuing making promises about the transparency on Jeffrey Epstein and claims about the existence of records that have not been produced, he is currently telling the country the president is saying this is all, quote, a scam, close quote. Yesterday, President Trump posted on his personal social media site, and I quote, my past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson, and they probably never will. That's from the president's personal social media. This is the president talking about his own constituents who are concerned about claims his own campaign surrogates and administration have continually raised. President Trump and Attorney General Bondi are directly responsible for all this confusion and mistrust, and they need to be fully transparent, and they should release all of the documents for the public to review as quickly as possible.
For more in-depth reporting like this, be sure to subscribe for regular updates. Back in February, only 17 days into her role, Attorney General Pam Bondi went on Fox News and announced that she had the Epstein client list sitting on her desk ready for review. Just weeks later, the White House staged what was framed as a major release of Epstein-related files, even preparing binders for conservative influencers and commentators. However, when the materials were published, they consisted mostly of documents already available to the public, containing no new revelations. The backlash was immediate, and Bondi returned to Fox News to insist that a whistleblower told her thousands of additional pages of documents existed in the Southern District of New York. She assured the country that everything would eventually be released. Subscribe if you want to continue following the truth behind these promises. What happened next only deepened public suspicion. Behind the scenes, Bondi allegedly pressured the FBI to assign nearly 1,000 agents in its Information Management Division and hundreds more from the New York field office. These officials were directed to work around the clock, reviewing Epstein-related records under an arbitrarily short deadline. According to reports, they were told specifically to flag any documents mentioning Donald Trump. Despite that massive effort, 3 months later, the Justice Department produced nothing new, only an unsigned memorandum declaring that the systemic review revealed no incriminating client list. Stay subscribed for breakdowns of how official narratives like this take shape and what they mean for accountability. The controversy didn't stop there. The July 7th memorandum included links to surveillance footage from outside Epstein's cell before his death, which it described as raw and unedited. But experts later suggested that portions of the video appeared to be altered, raising even more questions. Rather than putting the matter to rest, the administration fueled another wave of public doubt. Remember to subscribe if you want continued investigations into how official claims stack up against independent analysis. Meanwhile, President Trump has complicated things further. While his administration has continued to hint at the existence of unreleased files, the president himself has dismissed the issue outright, calling it a scam on his personal social media platform. In one post, he even criticized his own supporters for believing the allegations, saying they fell for it completely. This contradiction has only made the situation worse, since the claims fueling public suspicion originally came from his administration's own officials. Subscribe now to stay informed on the political fallout when public messaging and internal actions don't line up. In the end, both President Trump and Attorney General Bondi are seen by critics as directly responsible for the confusion surrounding Epstein's files. The public has been promised full transparency, but instead has received half measures and mixed signals. The only way to restore trust is through the release of all documents for independent review. If you believe the public deserves clarity, accountability, and facts, subscribe and stay with us as we continue to cover every development in this unfolding story.